Welcome to episode 20 of the Purpose Pursuit podcast, where we help you find your purpose, focus on it, and build a life you're proud of, mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically. Today's guest is a powerhouse attorney, advocate, leader, and most importantly, she's walking fully in her purpose. From Memphis roots to Nashville's front lines, Amy Willoughby Bryant has led legal change, elevated underserved communities, and fought to protect Tennessee's most vulnerable citizens. She's not just building policies, she's building legacy. And in this conversation, we go deep. If you're searching for your why, you need a reminder that you were born to lead, this is the episode for you. Let's get into it. We'll jump right into it.
All right.
All right, so Amy, let's rewind.
Okay.
Memphis born, TSU bred. What shaped you early on with your purpose?
So early on, my purpose was really shaped by family, really. Family and church. I was a church girl. And so I spent several days a week in church. And my family is a close-knit family. So I'm the oldest of four, so I'm a natural-born leader. And I think that's where my leadership started. And I'm the oldest grandchild on one side. So just naturally a leader. And then my parents and my church just instilled in me pretty much that I could do anything. Mm-hmm. And I naively believed it, still believe it. So that's my beginnings, really.
What church did you grow up in Memphis?
Abundant Grace Fellowship Church.
Where is
Westwood.
It? Okay.
It was in Westwood. It's in Whitehaven now.
Okay, they moved.
Yeah, they moved to Whitehaven. So not far from Mill Branch and Shelby Drive now.
Yeah. Now, you say you were a leader, natural born. Did you participate in anything in church? What did you do in church?
I was a dancer at church. I was a young minister, I guess, at church. I did the usher for youth ushering. Let's see, what else did I do at church? I was in the choir. Anything I could be in, I was in at church. Pretty much that's what consumed most of my time, except for school activities, were church activities. Because I didn't play sports. And so just everything. Anything I could be a part of, drill team, everything.
I don't think I was in that much. I was in the choir. On the usher board.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I was a young minister myself as well.
Yeah, I thought I would be a minister. I thought I would grow up to be an evangelist and like a public speaker. Well, I am a public speaker. I just thought I'd be doing it at church.
Right. Yeah. So was there ever a moment where like you realized that your voice really mattered when you were growing up?
I feel like my voice has always mattered. Mm-hmm. I have always been assertive and just outspoken about what it was that either that I wanted or what was just, which is so funny because my kids are saying, that's not fair. And they definitely get that honestly from me. And so I've always felt like people listen to me. I'm not really sure why, but it's just been that way my entire life that I've just been a leader within groups and been able to lead people, lead my peers, and deliver information to people, and they listen. I think it's just divine, that gift of being able to speak assertively and confidently. I think if you believe it, you can convince other people to believe it. I didn't know that growing up. I just did it. I know that now.
Okay. You've taken purpose beyond just career.
Mm-hmm.
You lived it daily. Where did that fire to serve come from?
So I think it came from a number of places, to be honest with you. So I am first generation college. And so I attended TSU, and that's Think, Work, Serve. But even before I got to TSU and knew the motto of TSU, serving at church, serving as the oldest of four siblings, serving my siblings, not so much thinking about it as serving, to be honest with you, just doing the task of making sure the people have what it is that they need, and just making sure that everything is in its place and together. I think it just naturally came together in that way as the oldest daughter. Sometimes that just naturally happens. And then as I matriculated through high school, I've always liked being in leadership. Now, I didn't necessarily have to be class president, but I liked being a leader amongst other leaders. I like learning from other people. Iron sharpens iron. So I just like being among leaders, and then serving in whatever capacity I could serve in, really. And so I think that just came naturally, to be honest with you. It wasn't something I necessarily sought out. I just think being the oldest granddaughter, being the oldest daughter, just matriculating through life, I assumed the role. I think I thought it was my role, so I assumed that role.
Yeah. Now, as the eldest, did you ever feel pressure to not mess up, to always do it right, and with always trying to do it right, did you ever feel like not serious resentment, but any type of resentment from the younger siblings?
Oh, most definitely. Let's first start with the always doing it right. So I was the type of person that had these check boxes. So there was a life, you had to check off these boxes. And so everything in life was set to a plan of checking boxes. And I really thought that's how you go through life and check boxes, because I did it for a really long time. And yes, I wanted to be, I'm not going to say perfect, but I wanted to make sure I had it all together. I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to make people proud. I wanted to live up to the expectations that have been set, whether they were said or unsaid. And then churchy expectations. So living up to all of the expectations of being just a good church girl. But yes, oh my gosh, my siblings, my sister under me, yes, she wanted to be everything opposite of me. We pretty much are opposites, although we're both successful in our own ways. Yes, she wanted to be completely opposite of me. And then, so we're 4 years apart. And then my brother, he's 6 years younger than my younger sister. She's 8 years younger. And so when I left home at 18, they were still young. And so, but I really saw that with my sister that's 4 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm an eldest too, and so that's kind of why I asked.
Yeah.
Not that I had to, but for whatever reason, it was something in me to where it's like I gotta get it right. I can't mess up. I'm
Right.
leading the way, and I'm the example.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
That pressure was there.
and I think it's sometimes I put pressure on the younger siblings because
Live up to those expectations.
yes,
For sure. So I think that's why my sister decided to take the opposite route. Like, I'm not going to be like you. I don't want to be like you. But I'm going to be me in my own way. So I definitely think that. Or older or younger cousins. Or even other peers per se. It just really depends.
Yeah.
Because, growing up in the 80s and 90s, people wanted to live up to the expectations of other people or do what other people were doing. I kind of just wanted to do my own thing, which was considered weird back then.
I think you kind of threw me off a little bit growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you've worn many hats. Attorney.
Yep.
Professor, policymaker.
Yeah.
Dancer, mom. I don't know if you did all those at the same time.
Yeah, I did a lot of them at the same time.
Okay. But who is Amy when all the titles drop?
So when all the titles are dropped, I'm just a loving, funny, constantly talking, energetic people person. So I love people. I love being around people. I love talking to people. I was the one that always got in trouble in school, that had to do the write-offs that says, I will not talk in class.
That was you?
That was me. Yeah. Not in high school, though.
Oh.
Not in high school. I figured it out by high school how not to get in trouble.
Okay.
I just did things that required me to talk.
Yeah.
Like leadership.
Yeah.
Get to talk. That's just who I am at my core, though. Just a person who believes that pretty much there's good in everybody. There's good in all situations. And like my life's motto is everything in life happens for a reason. But you want to meet life with optimism, and that's what I do. That's what I try to do, which was easier as a kid. Much, much easier because you just didn't know the trauma and the dangers of the world.
Yeah.
But I still try to do that in my day-to-day life now.
Yeah. I was just telling somebody that, in spite of how difficult it may be or how unfair it may be, I still try to find that balance. I still try to make sure that things are fair for the others, even though it may not be fair. But what can
Right.
I do to at least balance it out to where there's an equal burden on everybody, or that their load can be lightened just a little bit.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's fun you say that, because I'm kind of the same way. I don't know if it has anything to do with being that first child, but think the same way.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something to birth order.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people do the work, but not everyone walks in their assignment. What was that one moment that shifted your career into a calling?
So I think there was not one moment. So my current calling, I kind of stumbled into. But to be honest, if you give me a moment, I kind of stumbled into all the things. So I went to John P. Freeman, and so I wanted to go to Central, but I played the violin. So my parents made me go to Overton. So I kind of stumbled into the performing arts realm. And so that's where I played the violin, and I was a dancer, and I was a cheerleader. And so those were the beginnings there, and kind of just stumbled into that. And then honestly, for college, I stumbled into college. Like I said, I'm first generation college student. I didn't really know anything about school. I applied to the schools that came to our school. So, like, I remember Dr. Hefner came to Overton, and if you had a certain GPA and you had a certain ACT score, they were handing out scholarships right there. And so, fortunately, I stumbled into an HBCU environment, which was very wonderful for me. And that just sparked an interest in so many things in life and knowing who I am as an African American within this space, which set me up perfectly to go to law school. But to be honest, I didn't know that I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I would take over my dad's real estate company and just sell real estate until freshman year. I got my real estate license, and you have to study real estate law in order to get your real estate license. And I said, well, I like this law stuff. I think I may want to go to law school. I had zero intentions of actually wanting to be a lawyer, though. I just really wanted to study the law just based on the way that it intrigued my mind and the way it made me think. I said, I really like this law. So I changed my major sophomore year to econ because I heard that was a good major for law school. And then I wanted to go to St. Louis U for undergrad, actually, and didn't get in. And I got into it for law school. So that's how I ended up at St. Louis U. And it was there that my eyes were open to just a whole new world. The law is just integral in everything, but the people that I've met and the relationships that I've built have been just foundational within my space. And so I really thought I would practice real estate law. And so I went to law school to practice real estate law. I graduated in 2007. I had a law job at a real estate title company. Real estate market crashed. I had zero intentions of ever being a litigator, but I think I was just naturally born to be a litigator. And I've been litigating since 2008. So like the majority of my career has been litigation. I didn't take a trial class. And then my current job, a friend found it, really. She said, there's this job, I think it'd be perfect for you. You should apply for it. I had absolutely no idea what the organization did. However, when I looked at the website and looked at the job specifications, I had all of the elements that would make for a great director for the office. And so I applied for the job with no actual like hopes of actually getting it because it wasn't something that I was looking for at that time. Someone, told me to apply for it. And so I got it, and I've just blossomed in this space. I really like it. I never thought that I'd practice probate. I didn't really know much about conservatorships at all. But once I got in there, I saw all of the things that needed to happen within this space, all the change that needed to take place, hence me getting policy and different things put in place. And so that's really how it happened. I would just say I've just fallen into things that have become destiny for me without actually knowing. And so one of the things, so I will always say, order my steps. I would ask the Lord to order my steps. Or I would say, in all thy ways, acknowledge him and lean on him. And then my path will be made clear and my path will be directed. And sometimes I have an idea of what life's going to be and I have a plan, but it just gets derailed and goes somewhere else. And I kind of just lean into it reluctantly. I'm gonna say reluctantly because sometimes it's not on my list of things that I thought that I would do, but it fits perfectly for who I am,
Yeah.
so it works out.
Yeah, we were just kind of talking about how we have the pencil end of the pencil, while God has the eraser end.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so we kind of have this ideal of what we think it should be, but I think in the back of our mind, we got to know that it could go a different way.
Oh yes, yes. Although I try not to think about it could go a different way.
Mhm.
I always still have my plan,
Yeah,
and then the Lord just shows you a different way.
right.
But I always have my plan.
Yeah, yeah. I think it holds true if you're not planning, you're planning to fail.
I agree. You always have to be reaching for something.
Hmm.
I remember growing up, my pastor's father would always say, "Reach for the moon, you'll land somewhere amongst stars." And I'm always going to reach for the moon, whether I land there or not. That's to be determined if that moon destination is where my destination should be. But yeah, I kind of just stumbled into it. I love being a lawyer. I hope my kids become lawyers, but I really just fell into it.
What do they think about it?
About being a lawyer,
Yeah,
they don't. Well,
I mean, the oldest has to know what you do, right?
they all know what I
Yeah.
do. My 13-year-old, soon to be 14-year-old, his backup plan is to be a lawyer if he's not a professional ball player of some type.
Got it.
Then he could be a lawyer.
Okay.
The rest of them, no, but they may fall into it. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he may end up going to Harvard or something, playing football for them or something.
maybe. Maybe he wants to go to Duke.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he says.
Duke's a good school. They got a decent football
They
team.
do. They have good. Well, he plays basketball and soccer.
But they definitely got good basketball.
Yeah, they
team.
do. I know. That's why he wants to go to Duke. So we'll see.
All right. So you took on a huge mission with the Office of Conservatorship Management.
Hmm.
What made you say yes to that responsibility?
Honestly, I was looking for a change. Like I said, a friend recommended the job to me. I took it on honestly blindly, not really knowing what it was. I was looking for a different leadership position from the one that I had at that time. And like I said, once I got in there, I realized there was a lot that this office could actually do. And there are a lot of people who could benefit from the services that we provide. And then I can expand it. So that's what my mission is now, to expand that office to be a statewide office. And I just accepted it. I think I'm gonna say that because I really didn't know what it was when I stepped into this role. Now that I am in it, the people that we serve, which are individuals who have disabilities or incapacities or some sort of issue that leaves them unable to make decisions for themselves, my job is to help protect them, to educate the people who are helping them, and really just to educate the public about being in the same space with other individuals that are vulnerable, and understanding it. It can touch any of us at any point in time. There are many people who we service who have either had strokes or traumatic brain injuries from car accidents, just any person. It's not just people born with disabilities or elderly people. And so once I realized the magnitude and the reach of the office, I've been intentional to expand it and make it reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, going into that leadership role, what type of resistance did you face when you got into that role?
Resistance. Internal was really not having a guide. So I had to look outside of the state of Tennessee. We're the only office in the state of Tennessee. And so I had to look outside of the state to figure out what other people were doing and how other people were doing it. I haven't met any resistance to the change that I'm trying to do. It's more so convincing people that we need to have the funding. We need to provide these services because so many times people with disabilities or elderly people are just overlooked and just not in the forefront. And so the biggest issue, I will say, not so much resistance. There's not a person I've met that says, Amy, I don't think these are great ideas. Most of the time is, I don't know how you're going to do it or how I can help you do it. It's figuring out how to get funding for that and to get lawmakers to vote for it. So fortunately, we passed legislation this year that I'm super excited about. And that's a task force to explore a statewide office for conservatorships and just conservatorships statewide. So I'm really excited about that. And It's really that, just the incremental steps. It's always just baby steps forward, baby steps forward. And like I said, I'm always shooting for the moon. And so my goal is a statewide office, and I want that like now. And it's more so just making sure that I am taking those incremental steps to build that in the right way so that it's sustainable. That's the real resistance, I guess.
Yeah.
Convincing other people.
So I heard you say a little bit about, working with lawmakers. You ever thought about going into politics or anything of that nature?
I mean, sort of. I would love to be chief of staff for somebody, like the president of the United States.
So
I heard
shoot for the moon. Right?
I know. I heard an interview once with the chief of staff of scheduling for Barack Obama, and once I heard her interview on NPR, I said, "Oh, that sounds like something I can do." And then I read her book, and I said, "Wow, this sounds like something I could really do." Now that I have 4 kids, that's something I have to put on hold because it really is like a 24/7 job. But I would love to do that part of politics. Now, running for office, not so much. However, I can see myself as a senator. If at some point down the road, if like the doors open up and present themselves for me to be able to run for an office, I could see myself doing it later. Not right now while I have kids.
So you stumbled into certain professions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the precursor into stumbling into politics, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a precursor. I mean, I know lawmakers. I'm friends with lawmakers. We need more lawyers making laws, to be honest, especially in the Tennessee State Legislature. And I respect the job that they do. That's not my goal at the present moment. But like I said, I've stumbled into so many things. I am not limiting what could happen in my life.
Well, yeah. when it happens, it's gonna be on here first.
Oh yeah, it'll be on here first for sure, for sure. I can see it happening, but that's not on my list of things that I'm trying to do. I like to be the kingmaker more so than the king.
Okay.
I like to be the neck that turns the head.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. People see the wins, but what were the most behind the scenes struggles no one talks about when you were walking in your purpose?
Oh, so many things. So like I said, I walk in this blissful ignorance that everything is working out good, and not all things work out good. And you have to deal with everything that comes with that. And so walking in my purpose of becoming a lawyer was stepping into a space where I honestly knew nothing about as a first generation lawyer. And you're in a world with everyone else who are overachieving type A people. And so that really opened my eyes to just having to deal with my own insecurities. I went to a PWI, so that's a predominantly white school. There were 7 Black females in my class, 1 Black male out of 220 people. So it was the first time that I was in a space I was a predominant minority knowingly, like, in a little bubble. And I can't really say honestly how that played a role in my psyche. But I know I had my first anxiety attack in law school, and I can't really pinpoint exactly what it was, but I think it was more so just the pressure of being in that environment. And that's when I started therapy a long time ago. And I would go regularly back then just to tap in. I think one thing about growing up in church, you're just taught to pray about things and pray things away, and everything's going to be better, but not necessarily actually dealing with the things that the underlying issue. And I think for the first time, well, not for the first time, for the second time, because I went to Hawaii, but we can talk about that later. But for the first time as a full adult, I was in a new city. I didn't know anyone there when I went there. It was a new school. It was just a whole new space. And so it was the first time I got to be me outside of my family and my friends. I established new friends that I have. They're lifelong friends now. But it just allowed me to be with me for probably the first time, really. Because when I went to TSU, there were people I knew from Memphis that went to TSU. But at St. Louis U, I didn't know anybody in the city. So I got a whole new church home and all new friends. And that was probably the start of, recognizing internal struggle. Outside of that, there's just so many pressures being a working professional, especially a working mom. that I didn't really think about. Having to navigate the mental space of being a wife and a mom and everything that goes into it, and also wanting to work. Um, I want to work. I can't imagine staying home with my kids. So maybe now that they're all in school, I could do that. And so there's a lot that goes into just being a woman, being a professional, and that mental struggle. Oh, that leads me to another point, if I can. So the legal profession is, majority white males. And there are 5% of lawyers are African American. Even smaller percentage of those are females. And so being a young Black female first in the legal profession back in 2007, that was daunting. And a lot. I mean, I was naive enough to just walk in spaces and know that I'm supposed to be there, but not necessarily welcomed in those spaces because I was seen as either I'm not supposed to be there or surely I'm not educated enough to, walk into the doors. Like if you're walking into new courtrooms, they would presume that I'm not the lawyer when I'm walking into the space where the lawyers are. And so hopefully that's not happening as much, but I still hear that women have struggles within this profession of just living up to the status quo of what the norm is. We're making a new norm, though. I think we make up about half of the legal profession now. Women, not Black women, but women.
Right.
Yeah.
You touched a little bit on family, kids, profession. Has to be tough to balance it, but I'm sure you make it look easy. How do you balance it all? Because, on one hand, you want to be there for family. You see them through all these milestones. And on the other hand, you have your profession where you want to reach milestones and make changes, in that profession. But how do you balance it? How do you balance being mom, wife, professional? How do you do it?
So I have impeccable time management skills. So my real life goal is to teach people how to have time management skills. I'm very mindful of time. Quality time is my love language, but I think that transcends into everything that I do in life. I plan everything, every hour, down to me asking you questions about where I'm supposed to be and what time I'm supposed to be there, because I plan it out. But that's me. So for me, planning things gives me a peace. Knowing what comes next is what alleviates some of the anxiety that comes with all of the roles that I make. So I literally plan out all the days, and I have a planner. We have a wall calendar in my house, in the kitchen. I have a paper calendar, have electronic calendars, and just being very clear about what the tasks are. So the children know where they're supposed to be and what they need for whatever the given thing is, because they play sports and they do other things. Or my husband and I will talk about where I have to be, where he has to be, just making sure we coordinate those schedules. To be honest with you, when people ask how I'm able to do it all, I have a very supportive partner. And so Julian is just a really supportive partner in everything that I do, and I support him in everything that he does. So we balance our schedules with each other. I keep the social calendar, though, so he didn't have to worry about that. And I just fit it all in. It's a lot of mental energy, to be honest with you. I think I've been doing it for a long time. I've been planning since I was a kid. So just planning out every minute of my day, including sleep, is just what I do. In that respect, it looks easy. I tell people I'm like a duck. So the feet are just moving underneath. You just can't see them. Like all the gears are moving underneath, but it's smooth sailing on top. I'm very good at keeping a cool, composure on the outside. But sometimes there's a lot of little legs moving under there. But that's really how I do it. Time management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be the biggest thing is managing that time, huh?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. With the amount of schedules that need to be managed in our household and just making sure everyone is where they have to be and has everything that they need. I mean, it also helps that I have the resources to do that. And I tell people that it would be different if I didn't have the resources to provide time. Like time is a commodity.
So for somebody who may not have the resources but looking to get better at managing time, etc., like what would their first step need to be in terms of going in that direction of managing time better?
So I would say evaluate the time that you have. So I always tell people to be realistic about the time that you have. If you have a job where you have to be at a certain place for a certain length of time, block that off. You already know you can't do anything else with that time because that's the resources that you need to have. And then fit things in incrementally and prioritize them. And so let's say a lot of people want to make sure they are able to exercise. I would say try to get a gym membership somewhere that has flexible hours around whatever your work schedule is, where you can either go before or after. And then just start even one day a week, plugging that in and figuring out how to make that work. And then if there's something else that you need to plug in, or if there are activities for kids, you just plug those things in and then build on that. And that's really the best way of starting out small, especially if you don't have time autonomy. I mean, fortunately in my work, my schedule is fairly flexible. I can work from home if I need to. And so if you don't have that option and you need to go to an office, you plan around it, but you want to prioritize like what is most important. I always tell people prioritize sleep. I mean, you can function on fumes for a very short period of time. And so prioritize that, whatever that time block is that you need to have energy, block that into. And then you can fit in small things. So one thing that I'll try to do is like 10 minutes of Pilates every day. I don't do it every day, but I try to do it. But that's something I can literally roll out of bed and do on the floor. Yeah. And so you can't always do what you see other people doing. You may have to make adjustments for your life. Like I don't work out in the mornings. That would be next to impossible for me to do, but I work out in the evenings and I know that I can do that. And so I would say that like have a realistic expectation for yourself. Just start small and keep doing it. Be consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've launched the first statewide conservatorship training program and also published nationally and advised on CNN's Blindside Doc. How do you stay grounded through all that visibility?
I don't think about it, to be honest with you. It helps that there's not paparazzi around yet. That would make it a little bit more difficult. But to be honest, I really don't think about it. I'm just doing what needs to be done in order to get better. And to be honest with you, a lot of that comes to me. I attract it, I guess. But like CNN reached out to me, they found me. And so it was cool for them to reach out to me. It was also humbling to think that, I have information that other people want to hear about when I write or when I'm doing speaking engagements. To be honest with you, I'm always just trying to improve my skill. And so I don't really think about the popularity that comes from it. It kind of just comes. I don't know. I would say I'm probably naively grounded, to be honest with you, because I don't think about it. I can't really, I thought about that, but I can't really figure out how I really stay grounded other than I'm just am who I am. And I think I've heard celebrities say that too, though. Like they got famous and, it just happened. And it just happens, the things that are happening for me are just happening. And I appreciate the ability to be able to walk in, and I'm thankful for it, to be honest. So it's probably that. That's probably just being gracious and having gratitude for the things that come. Yeah. It's probably what keeps me most grounded. Yeah.
Why is it so critical that leaders listen to the communities they serve?
Oh, it's critical to listen to the people who will be most affected at every level. And so in every level that I've been a leader, I've always wanted to know how the people that I'm making decisions for, how that affects them. So I like to know what let's say it's at work. I want to know what their job is. I want to be able to do everyone else's job. So when I was president of the Bar Association in Nashville, the Napier Luby Bar Association, the Black Bar there, I had done just about every job except treasurer when I became president. So I knew what it was that they had to do. And so when it was time to ask someone to do a task or change a policy or make a new rule, I knew how that would affect the individuals within that organization. I do that in everything. I think about how it will affect the lowest member. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions. That happens. But I'm cognizant of how that will affect the overall and then how that affects down the line. Yeah.
Okay. People are watching who feel overlooked and undervalued. Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone who thinks purpose isn't for them?
Oh, everyone has a purpose. I think sometimes people think purpose has to be big or purpose has to be grand. Purpose is what you're destined to do. Everybody's here to have an impact on someone. And so your purpose could just be giving a compliment to someone today, which changes the trajectory of their day to help them to be a more pleasant individual, or merely helping someone cross the street or something small. Like, I don't see purpose as something big. I see purpose as something that we do on a daily basis. And so I would just say to that person, you have value. You have an impact. Your impact can be big. Your impact can be small. But you are worthwhile and here for a reason, and walk in that. Even if you don't know what that is, just walk in it every day. Just try to be better today than you were yesterday. And then you're walking in that purpose. Yeah. You don't always have to have a goal. I do. If I don't have a goal, I feel lost. But some people are perfectly fine wandering into things. Clearly, I stumble into things even when I have goals. And so I just think that every person has something that they can do, even for themselves. It doesn't have to be for someone else. Your purpose could be to help yourself get to a place, which in turn may help someone else. You just never know the ripple effects. Yeah.
Okay. You're a wife, a mother of four, and a national leader. How do you balance that demand without losing your joy?
Oh, well, I find joy in everything that I do. So I really don't accept tasks if they won't bring me some sort of joy or lead to some further purpose. And so I really do try to incorporate the kids and my husband into the things that I can. So they just came with me on this past trip to Seattle. I had a board meeting there, so I brought them along with me. I really try to make sure that I'm able to continue in the things that I prioritize most, which is self, marriage, children, and then, my walk with God, with everything else that I do. And so it has to fit down to, like, when I applied for the job that I have now, I told them I have children and they are small, and there are this, and this I have to have in order for this to work, which is not something you usually do when you go into an interview. But at that point, I mean, I had nothing to lose really. And it worked out. And so just being intentional, I'm going to have joy. There's going to be some hard times, but just making sure what I'm doing fits, really, truly making sure it fits.
What does your spiritual alignment mean to you, and how has your faith played a role in keeping you rooted?
Oh, well, like I said earlier, growing up in church helped me to have the faith that I can do anything. I firmly believe that faith without works is dead. And when I say that, it's I can have a belief in something that I want to do, but Amy, you have to take the steps to get there. It's not just going to happen. There are things that happen by happenstance, but it's because other steps have been taken. And so I'm firmly rooted in that. And then, like I said, that all things in life happen for a reason. I'm certain that came from my religious upbringing and my family upbringing. Um, and I believe in prayer and praying for just about everything. I always tell people that parking lot Jesus follows me around, so I'm always able to get a good parking space. And so I just believe in praying about things, letting God work, sort of, because like I said, I'm trying to plan everything out and then he's making, other plans. And so it's really that. And I try to instill those same things in my kids. I do affirmations. So I have daily affirmations for the kids. I have daily affirmations for myself. And that's what really keeps me grounded in what my purpose is and being a light that shines out. I've always been that way. I can't think of a time that I wasn't that way. There have been some, not so happy times in life. But even in those, I try to find joy, because joy comes in the morning.
So we all go through challenging times
Yeah.
throughout our lives, be it with family, be it with career,
Yeah.
etc. So, you know, Talk to us about like a time where your faith was really tested and you really had to lean on God. So, what's something that you can think of that comes to mind when your faith was tested?
Hmm. So my faith was really tested in my first marriage. So this is my second marriage. And like the thought of being divorced before 25 was not in the checklist of things that Amy had for her life. And so that was really a test there of life not working out the way I thought life was supposed to work out. Because you don't go into any marriage thinking that it won't work, especially when you're 22, 23. And so that was a really big challenge in just life doesn't always go the way you think it should. Um, and then you have to rebound from that. And so that was a really tough time of just having to ground myself in so many things, but really also rethinking my faith, like testing my faith, testing what I thought about life and how life was supposed to work. So that was one of the first big ones there, for sure. Because you when you're going through something, especially if you've grown up in church and church teaches you, marriage is the next step in life. Then you get married and you have kids, and if you get married and you get divorced, it's just it's sort of like a letdown. I wanted it to work. I wanted to make sure that it worked. And then it didn't. It didn't work. And so dealing with internal shame of having a marriage that didn't work so young and everything that comes along with things not working out the way that you thought that they were going to work out, and then rebounding from that. Um, I rebounded quite well. So I'm happy about that. But that was the first really big test back then. Yeah.
If you were to give advice to a young woman or your younger self in terms of what to look for, what to expect, how to approach relationships, and or how to even approach marriage, like what type of advice would you give a young person or your younger self looking to go into that phase of their life?
I would say just be honest with yourself, which is really hard because it's if you're living up to the expectations that other people have for you, or that you think other people have for you, or that the church has for you, you may not really know what it is that you want. You may think that this is the path you're supposed to take because this is the next step. And so just being honest with yourself and then being honest with your partner. That's something I think comes with time, to be honest, being able to be honest with your partner because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't know how they may take a certain thing. You don't know if you're saying something the right way. But I would say just start out there. It's better if you can start out there. I knew when I wanted to get into another relationship after my divorce that I wanted to be friends with that person. We have more grace with our friends than we do with spouses sometimes. So I wanted to make sure that we had a solid foundation of friendship before we had a romantic relationship, because we put so much pressure on a romantic partner that we don't necessarily put on a friend. We'll give friends the benefit of the doubt, which was not something I did in my first marriage. And so I wanted to make sure I saw that as key, really. So being honest with yourself, being friends with the person, and then being able to be honest with the other person is what I would tell people to strive to do in all relationships, really, but especially in one where you're going to live with them and have a whole family with them. Yeah.
Okay. When you look back 10 years down the line, what would you want your legacy to look like?
This is a tough one.
Is it?
Yes. I would like my legacy to be Amy loved and loved hard. So that's what I would ultimately like that legacy to be, but in all things. But Amy also fought for what was fair and what was equitable in everything. And that goes down to any and everything that I do, whether that be for family or for work or for friends or whatever. That's what I would like my legacy to be. If we talk about like my impact on people, because I thought about that when I read that. I would like my impact on people would be for people to know that if I can help them, I will. Um, if it's within me or within my wherewithal to do it, I will. And if not, I'll find somebody that can do it. Um, I like being resourceful. So, um, and I like being that resource. And that's why I mentor lots of people. I like giving back. And I think that all boils down to just love, giving love, making sure that someone else feels what I felt, people have imparted into me. I want to do that with other people.
Yeah. So what's one thing that you haven't done that you know you have to do?
Oh, in any aspect of life?
Yeah. Professional, life,
Oh,
personal? Yeah.
one thing that I haven't done that I absolutely have to do. I want to travel the world, so I haven't done all of that. Um, so I definitely with work. Let's start professionally. I want Tennessee to have a statewide office of conservatorship management. I don't know how long that will take, but that is something that definitely needs to happen. Whether I lead that or not, hopefully I will be the person to lead that. But like I've said, I plan things and life happens. That needs to happen professionally. On a personal level, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I really desire for my children to grow up to be contributing members of society in a very impactful way. Personally, I need to give that some thought. What I want to do personally that I haven't done. I mean, only thing I can think of is travel. I love traveling, so I would like to go to all the continents. I mean, maybe not Antarctica; it's kind of cold. So I'd really like to do that. That's really what I want to do on a personal level. Oh, I know something I want to do, but we've talked about it already. I want to, for a profession, I would like to speak on work-life balance and being a working parent. That is my ultimate goal. That's what's on my wall in my office. That's what I want to do. I want to be paid to speak about work-life balance as a working.
And that's a good topic though.
Yeah.
Because so much of profession, family requires a lot out of you, and how you explained it, like you're good at time management, work life balance. I know that's one of the things that I'm very big on. Is obviously profession has to happen, but you got those that are outside of the profession. How do you balance time for them too? So I think that'll be good. You certainly will have my attention.
Oh, I've started this year. So
have you?
I've started just talking about work-life balance and mindfulness within being a lawyer. And so I've done that a few times this year, and I'm going to do it a few more times this year. So
how can somebody? Is it on the internet, or how would they see it?
Oh, well, if you're a member of the National Guardianship Association, I've done it for them. So anyone who's a member of that can see it. It was recorded for the Nashville Bar Association, and so it's probably on their website. I imagine a person who's not a member could pay to watch it. I haven't recorded it in a way that anyone could see it. That they can't pay for it.
Yeah.
Like at this point, you'd have to pay for it. Not me, but you'd have to pay the organization that recorded it.
Okay.
And I'm doing it again a couple more times this summer. But they would have to pay to come to those conferences to hear it. But it's mindfulness and the law profession, just how to do that without losing your mind.
All right. If someone's listening and they're tired, discouraged, and ready to quit, what's the direct message that you have for them today?
Hope. And I would say, aside from hope, talk to someone. I know a lot of people feel that what they're going through, no one else could possibly be going through. Someone is going through that or has gone through what it is that you're going through. Talk about it. Find someone to talk to, or find someone to talk to you about that given situation. And so I guess that's all veiled in, I guess, let go of the shame of the situation, whatever that may be, because I think shame is what keeps us from talking about whatever the situation is that we're going through. Once you seek that out and put that in an atmosphere, I think that your help will come. But I think you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge it out loud. But I'm a firm believer that in what you need will come to you. So you have to acknowledge that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This comes to the end, and certainly appreciate you blessing us with your presence and your wisdom. And it's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great
And
to see you too.
yeah,
It's been a long time.
a long time. And hopefully, I don't know, you're struggling a little bit about what's something that you wanted to do. I was thinking maybe we can come do an interview at your law firm or wherever you work or whatnot. Or something
Oh,
like
for
that.
sure. Like
Yeah.
I love doing interviews.
Do you?
So it's just a matter of timing then,
Yeah,
right?
right, exactly.
But if someone comes to Nashville, CNN came to me.
Yeah.
And so that makes it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes it easy. But I love sharing the things that I've learned with other people. So I appreciate you asking me. I know I was like, let me find a date that we can make this work. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to make sure I did. I think it's important to share your story. A lot of people, like you said, a lot of people see the successes. You don't really see what goes on behind the scenes. But everyone has some sort of struggle going on behind the scenes, whether it's small or big or whatever, depending on where you are in life. And so I always like to share as much as I can.
Yeah. Well, certainly appreciate it.
Thanks
And
for having me.
hopefully this won't be the last time, and we can do it again.
Oh, yeah. Good seeing you too.
That was powerful. Amy didn't just share knowledge. She gave us permission to walk boldly in our purpose. Even if we're scared, even if we're doubted, even if we're underestimated. Here's the challenge. Don't just listen, reflect, reignite your purpose, and then do something about it this week. One action, one conversation, one step. If this episode hit home, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love. Hit that like button and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube or wherever you're tuning in. This is the Purpose Pursuit Podcast. We'll see you on the next one. But today, start walking like your purpose is waiting, because it is.